look, it's like there's a layer of something like a tendon almost.
So I just started you right there because I feel like this is good information for everybody.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Murder with My Sister.
Murder with My Sister.
I'm currently eating dinner and drinking wine, so this is going to have some...
I'm done with dinner and drinking wine. Actually, we're not drinking wine.
Sangria-ritas.
We're having a sangria-rita. Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
But so we were talking about meats and avocados and fake fruits.
Fake food.
So, and then I was going to jump in a segue and say I had just watched the documentary on Netflix about the monarch butterfly. Oh.
It's dire.
Wait, the man who was running the foundation for it. So I guess I did not know the monarch butterfly starts in Canada and migrates all the way to Mexico.
Yes.
Like, first of all, I thought butterflies died after 24 hours. No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Not this one.
Mm-mm.
It's a little longer.
So the Mexican cartel is killing the advocates for all of these things out there because they have found that there is more money in exporting avocados than they're making the same amount of money as they would if they were illegally exporting drugs, and it's illegal avocado.
I love it.
So, but the problem is that they're destroying, I think they said like 750 acres a year.
To plant more trees.
Well, so, okay, and I didn't know this, and I'm not an agriculturalist person. Mm-hmm. From the story, they said if they cut down the lumber, they're selling it for like $1,000. Let's just say $1,000 a tree.
Okay.
They're burning the soil,
oh, no.
and once they do something to it, it can only be those same rainforests that were there before can't regrow, but it does become a thriving environment for avocado trees.
Or any agriculture. I mean, didn't we do that? And that's why there's corn and potatoes and shit. Like, we just decimated what was already there.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Me neither. I'm just saying.
Okay.
The books might have said something like that.
The books are lies. So I don't know what happens to soil when you burn it. I do know when I lived in Bolingbrook and they would do a controlled burn.
Yes.
That was my fucking jam. I love to watch a controlled burn, but those fucking weeds grew back. They're not destroying it, so what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, I thought that it was supposed to like make it more fertile or like make it for those things to be able to grow back and all of that stuff. Like I didn't think that burning was a bad thing, but maybe there's a way to do it, and whatever they're doing is like changing the soil so that whatever's native can't come back.
That's what they're saying in this documentary. So they killed this man and dumped his body, and he was come on, monarch butterfly.
So it's just like literally these people are trying to save the earth and nobody gives a fuck.
Oh, no.
Nobody gives a fuck still.
Butterfly documentary. Netflix. Watch The Guardian of the Monarchs.
Aww.
And
when you leave, I'll show you my, the side yard.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you all my milkweed. It's as tall as me.
Milkweed?
Milkweed.
Okay.
And it smells really good.
Yeah, so it was really sad. And to top it all off, they killed this poor man who was just trying to raise money and awareness for the monarch butterfly. And if you see them, for you and I, like we would look at them and you would see these butterflies that land. And I forgot what the name of it is when they cluster together like that. Yeah. But there are hundreds of them.
I don't think I've ever
on one
seen,
branch, and they're branches and they're covering. So for me,
it's like
I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, like that's a billion butterflies.
I think to see even a bunch of them in a field, like I don't think I've ever seen more than 5 in one area together.
So yeah, but for him, he's like, this gets worse and worse and worse every year. So it's terrible if you want to take a look and be depressed.
I mean, that's what we
about
do,
the
right?
rape of our planet.
Let's keep doing it. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, play it back.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so did you do a little intro? It looks like we have the same intro.
I think we have, you mentioned something, so I think we do have the same intro. So go ahead and you go. You go.
Since 2001, at least 50 women between the ages of 18 and 58 have been murdered in similar fashion within the city of Chicago. Let me just say this is not the minimum amount. There have been far more deaths in the city of Chicago. Our crime rate is outrageous.
100%.
The victims that we're talking about were predominantly black. They were typically sex workers, some with criminal records. Nearly all were strangled, partially or fully stripped, and then left in abandoned buildings, alleys, garage bins, parks, or snowdrifts.
Garbage bins.
Garbage bins.
Or snowdrifts.
I mean, like,
I mean, you know what it looks like when you shovel in the winter in
girl,
Chicago.
girl, you're saving that spot until spring.
100%.
So, this is the story of the theorized Chicago Strangler.
True story.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Please.
So, the literature says that there's a pattern of similar murders of these women that something called, so I want to talk about this part.
Mm-hmm.
There's an organization called the Murder Accountability Project, or MAP for short, that was the brainchild of investigative journalist Thomas Hargrove. He developed an algorithm, and there's a podcast called Algorithm. You tried to listen to it once, but the guy who does the podcast, you kept telling me, like, I just cannot get behind his voice, and you never finished it.
I feel like I remember the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the name of the podcast is Algorithm. It's based on one of his searches, Thomas Hargrove searches.
I mean, it kind of sucks for podcasters if somebody doesn't like your voice.
100%.
Because there's no getting around it. So if I'm annoying...
Yep.
Maybe you're not, though, and then they're like, well, I like Marie better than I like Lisa, which,
whatever.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. and then they'll be like, well, I really didn't like you when we first started listening, but now you're okay. I get it.
But sometimes whatever the intonation, whatever the tone is, like, you just cannot get past it to hear the whole thing or even try to get used to it.
Yeah.
It can be hard. So neither here nor there. So I learned about the Murder Accountability Project and then this podcast. I think it was from that podcast called Algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So a short story. Thomas Hargrove noticed that there was potentially a need for some sort of a computer program or algorithm that can somehow look at clusters of unsolved murders within a certain geographical location that had similar features, or the victims had similar backgrounds or something of that nature, but they were unsolved. So he started looking at different bigger cities and places where their crime rate clearance was very, very low, and then would notice these unsolved murders and blah, blah, blah.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I think algorithm is one of the smartest sounding words ever.
I love it.
It's one of the best words.
I sound smarter.
I feel smarter.
Just saying it.
When I heard you say it.
I'm just saying.
All right, then.
Anyway, so he developed this program with, and there are other people in his project, in his business, but he developed this program and he tested it. Forgive me if I'm wrong, people, but he tested it on known serial killers to see if it actually did what he thought it was going to do. So he put in the demographic information for all of Gary Ridgway's known victims, and it identified that there was a serial killer in the Green River area in Seattle. So he's like, boom, we already knew that. He's been caught. Great. Then he did it with Ted Bundy's victims and identified that it did exactly what he was hoping it would do. So knowing that he tested it on these known areas, known victims and whatnot, then he went to Ohio, Chicago, Gary, Indiana, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, we could keep a motherfucker busy up in here.
I'm just saying. We're right in the middle. We get all crazy here.
We can keep some fucking people busy with murders here.
So Ohio lit up, Gary, Indiana lit up, and Chicago lit up for these clusters. From what I can tell, Ohio took it seriously. They formed a task force. They listened to what he had to say. They were like, let's run with that.
Go for it.
I don't know that they've actually caught anybody yet,
Oh.
but they have a task force. Like, the life is good. Gary, Indiana is where that algorithm podcast is like based on. They're talking about Darren Dion Van. And that was the guy who was identified as the Strangler in the Gary, Indiana area. Now, you and I both know where we live in Chicagoland, south of the city.
Don't give out too much information.
Gary, Indiana is, for us, commute-wise, as close as going to downtown Chicago. We're kind of right in that area.
You're giving out too much information.
So, the proximity to the state of Illinois and downtown Chicago to Gary, Indiana is like a 45-minute drive. So it stands to reason that
you could have just said we can travel to the border.
Anyway, so
borders of Indiana and Illinois.
You know what? You're going to travel to a border in a minute. So it stands to reason that this person could have committed.
That was such a mom thing to say.
Just saying.
That was so fucking mom. Get back in there, friend.
Mom joke. That Darren, whatever the fuck his name is, douchebag, dirtbag guy, probably committed crimes in Illinois. Now he's all fucked up. He is like, admittedly, probably a sociopath, psychopath, whatever flavor you want to call him. He's a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that this garners him any sympathy, but he literally said, like, I am a bad person. If I am out and about, I am going to continue to hurt people. I don't want to live. Just execute me, because that's the only way that anyone's going to be safe at night.
You know what? I don't know that I'm giving you a whole lot of credit for saying that.
What do you mean?
Well,
like, some people would be like,
yeah, he's acknowledging, he wants to be helped. He's reaching out.
No.
I mean, I don't know about that.
He's an asshole.
Okay.
So his statement to the police in Gary, Indiana, were Illinois, it was something like, Illinois has a lot of cases. I've killed people in Illinois.
Oh, no.
But he won't give them any specifics.
And that's how you know he's not sorry. He doesn't want the help.
He says that it's because if he gives the investigators Illinois cases, then it's going to delay his execution in Indiana.
Just
and
don't.
I was like, whatever, anyway.
Just you don't.
So he was identified, and he may be the culprit behind some of the cases that they're currently attributing to this theorized Chicago Strangler.
Okay.
The whole point is that this algorithm works. It was proven on known cases, and it's lighting up in the city of Chicago as well.
And I bet that it's lighting up in the city of Chicago for a couple different reasons. So, and again, just to clarify, this is Murder Accountability Project, also known as acronym MAP.
MAP, correct.
It is a nonprofit organization. So,
and a lot of I didn't copy and paste this, so I'm gonna butcher all the
I love it.
verbs, whatever.
I mean,
the stuff.
No pun intended on butcher.
But basically, the murder accountability projects being able to put these names and demographics into their system depends on reporting. And there are a lot of states that on his website you can see there are a lot of states that are either very lax or really, really behind at actually reporting murders. Apparently, it's a law or like a thing that they have to, like, as the city finds people murdered or missing or whatever, that these statistics have to be reported to the federal government, and they don't always do that. So there could be even more scary stuff out there that we don't know about, or that maybe there's more women or something like that, because it all depends on the reporting from the Chicago police and the other agencies.
That was a lot.
So, MAP personnel warned police and local journalists about large clusters of suspicious female homicides committed in Cleveland and Chicago. The Cleveland police department assembled a task force to review the area's unsolved homicides. Chicago said, We have no evidence of serial murders in a wave of unsolved female strangulations since 2000. No, that's not a thing. So here's my fun thing. Chicago. Oh, Chicago.
I love that you have a fun thing in this
Here's
tragic,
my fun
horrific
thing.
fucking story.
Here's the thing. So Hargrove said, Chicago said, 51 women. Chicago thinks that these 51 women, give or take, have been murdered by 51 different people.
Ooh.
That they're not related.
Oh, that's
However,
rough.
all of those cases are still unsolved. So Chicago, this is to you, mayor, whoever you are at this moment. I don't even fucking know who.
I don't actually know.
I don't even know who it is anymore.
Yeah.
Mayor, whoever, police, whoever. Would you rather that there's one murderer
Would you rather?
running around out there acting a fool,
Or 51?
or 51
Ponder that, Chicago.
murderers running around in Chicago
Mhm.
doing whatever the fuck they want? Because guess what? You didn't solve that shit.
51 or 1?
Which sounds worse? A serial killer or 51 murderers walking around free in Chicago?
Okay, if you could see my face, you would tell I'm having a really hard time answering that.
She looks like she ate a lemon.
Because I think both are pretty
They're
horrific.
pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I found that most of these strangulations were committed in just 3 police districts. Wait,
Interesting.
what?
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, what?
3 police districts located in 2 predominant areas.
Indeed.
The south and west sides of Chicago,
Yes.
areas with histories of violent crimes and drug use. So again, you have to be careful in Chicago because we have gang violence. We have crimes of opportunity. We have, you know what? Think of the crime, we've got it. We've got you covered,
So
crime criminalists.
I'm gonna tell you something. Having lived in the city of Seattle for a short time, that I found was very remarkable. Having
Remarkable.
never lived anywhere else except Chicago until that point.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighborhoods, fam, are divided very much by actual
Landmarks.
yes, like a viaduct,
Viaduct.
a
So,
street.
oh my God,
a
wait.
railroad track.
Wait. So we grew up in this city.
Yes.
Like we were not too. So let me tell you a little bit about these 2 areas. The first one is Washington Park. So to give you a frame of reference, people, if you are not from the Chicagoland area, we have the south side of Chicago is essentially downtown south. So if you're familiar with sports, you are going to find, I shouldn't have done it. What I still call Comiskey Park, which was U.S. Sailor Field, which is
Guaranteed
the
rate
great stadium. Maybe. We still call it Comiskey Park.
'Cause that's what it
So I don't actually know what the real one is. But it's going to be south of that area. So it is stretching east and west from Cottage Grove Avenue to the Dan Ryan Expressway. And then it's going to be going north and south from 51st Street to 63rd Street.
Wait. And then, you guys, my sister used to cut Dan Ryan's hair. There's
Oh,
literally
I so
there's
did.
literally a fucking Dan Ryan for the
I
Dan Ryan.
crushed so hard on that ginger.
It was
Oh
like
my
his grandpa.
God.
His grandpa was Dan Ryan.
I
That
don't
was
even
named
remember.
for
I
him.
just remember that he was as Irish as they come, as cute as the day is long, and I crushed so fucking
She's
hard on
like,
him.
I cut Dan Ryan's hair, and I'm like, the highway.
So then the other area was Garfield Park. Now this is interesting because being from Chicago, I was like, of course I know Garfield Park. And then I read it and I'm like, that's not Garfield Park. Ha ha. The Garfield Park that they are referring to for the purposes of this story is actually a little bit north, like westish of the city. It is East Garfield Park, or in some areas, but it's like the original Maxwell Street. So from this, it looks like it's running. It's following. There's 290, so we're still downtown. Garfield Conservatory. So this has got to be right near. That's got to be right near Jackson Boulevard. So this is right near downtown. Is that what you picked it up to be?
The name of it I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have just said the west side of Chicago, or what I know it as, K-Town.
Okay, so I was just gonna say, are you allowed to say that?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I think it's okay because K-Town is referring to the fact that as you go west out of the city, there are clusters of streets that all start with the letter M, and then the
I
letter
don't think this is
N.
that far west. So this is
But there's a bunch of streets that
okay.
all start with
Yes.
the letter
Yes.
K, so we
Yes.
call it K-Town.
Yes. So this one looks though like it's more. Do you know what it looks like? It's right near University campus. So like where
By UIC.
yes, Rush,
Okay.
UIC, all that area right
Yeah,
there.
I could see that.
I thought it was actually Garfield Ridge Park,
Oh.
which is Garfield Boulevard.
Yeah.
The boulevard that runs from Western
55th Street.
55th Street, or the Boulevard, which runs from Western Avenue down to
Yeah.
east to the Museum of Science and Industry and all
Which
that
I
stuff.
will tell you, fam, back in the day, like we're talking about like the 1800s, 1883, when
were
the
there,
Columbian
too?
Exposition, I was there.
Mm.
When all of that was first
That
built,
was where it was meant to be. Was
it
all
was
that
prestigious.
prestigious.
These houses, I know
Mansions.
that they've been chopped up and now they're apartment buildings now, but if you can see some of these
Mansions.
fucking houses, like I can remember driving down there
Gargoyles.
and wanting to, I was like, I would love to live in that house. It was like a castle.
And what would Fran say? Fuck, die over here. You'd be murdered in 2 seconds. Roll up your
Roll up
windows.
the windows!
Roll up your windows. Lock the doors and roll up your windows.
Fucking brand.
So, yeah, so I found it interesting, number one, that we have so many of these poor women, and they are found within essentially 3 police districts in 2 neighborhoods.
So then that begs the question, does this one predator, or even if it's a few predators, they know where they can get away with shit? Because people aren't, either they don't care and they're not paying attention, or high crime area, they're just fucking overworked. Like, I got let out of a lot of dicey parking things
That's
and
not
moving violations
untrue.
because they had bigger fish to go fry. I remember the one cop, he
not
was
true.
like, you are so lucky right now, because his little microphone on his shoulder was like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and he's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I mean, sorry. Bye.
I mean, but was I really breaking like the law?
Dude, I had expired plates. I had no driver's license. I had no proof of insurance, and I was going
Oh,
20
how
over the
many
speed
times
limit.
with the insurance already? I get
just
it.
didn't have it. I didn't
God,
have
I
it.
fucking get you with your fucking car insurance. Like, I get it now. Fucking need car insurance.
Anyway.
So, all right. So, do you want to let's dive into some of these women who shouldn't be forgotten
Shouldn't be forgotten.
and
So-
shouldn't have ended their lives like this.
Do you want me to name their names? Remember their names?
Remember, let's all of us take a minute and remember all of these.
All right.
So now, is it all 50 that because I thought there was like a string of 13 that they had arrested
They
some
said
men
that
for.
they arrested some men for
There was
some
26 of them, then they arrested 13 men for.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds great.
So just taking a quick mental math thing here.
I mean, it's a lot of names, people, but
Okay.
it started in 2001, give or take, with Angela Ford on January 4th. She was 32 years old. On March 28th, Charlotte Day, 42 years old. On August 2nd, Winifred Shines. Winifred, I love that.
That's a great name.
33 years old. August 22nd, Brenda Coward, 52 years old. These women were all African American. Then on November 5th, Elaine Bonita, 41, was Hispanic. And then December 8th of that year, Saudia Banks, 39. That was in 2001. And this is all from, have you seen the website uncovered.com? It's for true crime enthusiasts and armchair detectives.
No.
I think you can post and you can comment on things, but there's like forums where people are kind of running the show, and like people are trying to actively work these cases as an amateur. 2002 February, Bessie Scott, who was African American. February 16th, Jody Grissom, 20, was a Caucasian. June 12th, Gwendolyn Williams, 44 years old, and she was African American. August 25th, Lorraine Harris was 36 years old, and she was Caucasian. September 7th, Dolly Jones or Deli Jones. It's a really small print. Sorry, guys.
Blow that shit up.
33 years old. And then December 12th, Celeste Jackson, 37 years old.
It's called Zone.
I know.
Okay.
I just copied the picture.
Okay, I just be
Anyway, so this was in 2002. In 2003, March 10th, Nancy Walker. May 20th, Tarika Jones. May 20th, so these two young ones were found on the same day.
Oh no!
Linda Green, 42 years old. And then August 14th, Rosenia Baracchio, 20. August 16th, Latoya Keeler, age 29. October 15th, Lucette Thomas, age 21. Another same day, October 15th, Latricia Hall, 36 years old. And then December 26th, Essel Emerson, age 40.
So these ones that are on the same day and the number that we're talking about, is this spree or is this...
Were they together, like hoping, safety in numbers, and they
Oh.
both, like sometimes sex workers, I mean, if I wouldn't be doing stuff alone. I'd have a partner, so at least hopefully, we could help each other and if something went awry.
Yeah.
The thing about some of these cases, so like Angela Ford, who was the earliest unsolved case, she vanished after leaving her home to pick up her kids' report cards. And she was found strangled and unconscious days after her disappearance, but she languished a year and a half in a coma and then finally passed away. So
really,
she succumbed to her injuries, but it was not like the day that she was
right,
found.
right.
And then there was another story where one of the people was going to a doctor appointment. Her daughter said she didn't come home from her doctor's appointment. Then they backtracked it. She never made it to the doctor's appointment and things like that. Like, these weren't all people who were out and about doing nefarious things all the time. Some of these women disappeared doing very mundane, everyday kind of things. But because they have this maybe drug history, or
I mean, who among us hasn't?
Or, history of sex work or whatever, they're lumped into this.
Right.
I don't know why people think that they don't matter or something like that, kind of a thing. So that was 2003. 2004, they only have 3 names. July 15th, Michelle Davenport. October 16th, Tamalia Edwards. And November 15th, Michaela Williams. And they were all African American. 2005, in January, Precious Smith, 23 years old. February 1st, Denise Torres, 35. August 30th, Wanda Hall, 33 years old. December 25th, Yvette Mason, 35. And then December 30th, Shaniqua Williams, age 40. In 2006, January 12th, Margaret Gomez, age 22. July 14th, Antoinette Simmons, age 21. September 24th was Kelly Sarf, age 34. 2007, March, Veronica Frazier. May, Marianne Strakowski. November 13th, Teresa Brown. November 14th, Hazel Lewis. They were found within a day. 2008 only has 1 name, Genevieve Mellis.
So just let's take a quick look, because it looks like 2006 and 2008 we didn't have a ton of activity. And we know from past experience that some of these men are, killers, are caught and convicted and in prison for other things.
So that's purported to be the reason why 2001 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to 2012, there were at least 1 unsolved murder attributed to this particular theorized predator. Then there was a gap between 2012 and 2014 where nobody was attributed. and then a gap between 2014 and 2017. And Hargrove surmised that perhaps the individual was either not here and doing things elsewhere or briefly incarcerated.
Right.
Where he, and we're just going to assume where he was not able to hurt anybody and then released again. Now, according to...
Did you like your sangria, Rita?
Yeah.
It's just sitting there.
So, I don't know how to finish anything, and it often just gets warm. Do you want to drink my
Well,
sangria?
mine's almost gone, so, like...
I can make a drink last hours. Cheapest date ever.
Do you know how terrible that drink will taste if you let it sit for hours?
Maybe that's why I don't like to drink, because I let it sit too long and then it tastes terrible.
Yeah, so maximum effort, okay? Put your best fucking foot forward already.
Anyway, so that's kind of where I left off, was that I had figured or kind of written all these names down. Now, let's go back a little bit, because there is a person on the list. Her name is Diamond Turner. March 3rd in 2017, she was found. This was one of the ones. She was found strangled, beaten, partially disrobed in a trash bin, 7300 block of South Kenwood Avenue. She was found by the garbage collectors on March 3rd. Her case is similar in many key respects to the other 50 victims. This douchebag, Arthur Hilliard, was arrested and charged with the homicide of Diamond Turner, and it was the first arrest to be made. So this was 2017, the first arrest to be made in this large cluster of female strangulations.
So I know that you and I are not investigative journalists, but I think the thing that's nagging at me right now is how long were they missing? So you have the day that they were found.
So, and that's the thing, like some of them were never reported missing because maybe they didn't have families that were looking for them, or they had like a history of not hearing from that person for a while. So some of them were never reported missing, and then others, like those couple of cases that I told you about, like they were missed immediately.
Right. So, because I'm just wondering, on the ones where they were found on the same day, that doesn't necessarily mean they were murdered on the same day. We don't have like a time of death or.
Correct.
All right. Can I pause you really quick?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
I found that in an article it said in 2019 the Chicago police created a task force of 6 detectives to work with the FBI to review these cold cases, and shockingly, for reasons only known to the police who originally investigated the murders, less than half the victims actually had DNA collected from their crime scene.
Oh no!
They literally did not treat this as any type of priority.
I mean, it's 2001.
Yeah.
Was the so
2019.
So we're 2024, and what was the last one that they had?
The last
series.
The last murder that they're attributing. 2019.
So that's 18 years, and we know
they didn't even collect DNA.
That this serial killer, based on basic profiling, that I'm fully an expert in, with my couple of books that I've read, and we should all
1,000%.
Yeah, we should all know that my true crime wall poster boy is John Douglas. I've read all of his books. They're amazing. He's amazing. It's all amazing. But from the John Douglas Academy of Serial Profiling Killers, what I learned is that they traditionally hunt within their own ethnic group.
Yeah.
And seeing as this man or person has not been caught yet, I mean, you can't know because we just don't know so much. Were they missing for weeks? Were they left in open areas? Did they have to be discovered?
It
How,
doesn't sound
were they
like
all strangled? Was there any additional
it doesn't sound like
wounds?
they tried to hide them at all, whoever these
Were they
people were.
sexually assaulted?
Hard to say.
Not that that matters. Like, we now know that it is synonymous, or I should say, sexual crimes are not synonymous with rape.
Correct.
It can be sexual in nature, and it's still considered a sex crime.
Mhm.
So, I would say that this person was likely mid 20s to mid 30s,
Mhm.
and now would be 18 years older.
Mhm.
So potentially mid 40s to mid
I
50s.
mean, for all you know, the reason he stopped is because he had a drug abuse issue and he
Right, he
died.
died. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
He got
Like,
some fentanyl on the street
let's
like
talk
everybody
about
else.
the Chicago history of drug use, gang violence, wrong place, wrong time,
Mm-hmm.
muggings.
Mm.
I mean, there could be any number of reasons that nothing has happened since 2019.
If we just had some DNA or something, like it could be like the Golden State Killer in one day where they could tie them all together somehow.
And how many did you say they collected DNA on?
Less than half.
Ugh.
No bueno.
Okay.
Indeed. I also, that whole like 25 of the cases were solved, in quotes, by police, which resulted in the conviction of 13 men. Does that mean that each of those men committed 2 murders? Or that they tried 25 different people and half of them were acquitted because they had shaky cases?
I
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, who knows? What are they?
And then the question then too, the like, okay, do they not want to look into these potentially being related, because then that could impact these convictions, meaning that they put innocent men in jail or prison. They
I mean,
convicted the wrong person.
they could have been.
I mean, that would look poorly on them.
So what do we got with this? Then where are we at?
We're still at more than 25 unsolved murders that may or may not be attributed to a serial predator.
Well, I vote you for top researcher of this project.
And I did a piss poor job, people.
I vote you win that project game.
So, in that respect,
Please.
I think that this is one of those things, like our first episode, that we should kind of always just keep in on the back burner and update as we go forward and see if anything changes. Do you want to say what our feared update is in regards to our last episode? Do you want to talk about that? Because you sent me a text today.
So
quick recap.
Yeah, in the last episode, the first episode, my sister and I had decided that we were not going to tell each other what story we were doing because we both had a good one. And when we got here, I was like, let's just say it at the same time. We were both doing the Chicago River Killer, which is, again, another one, a theorized serial killer. A little more recent, unfortunately. And just today, I was scrolling through the Book of Faces, and I came across an alert for a gentleman by the name of Philip Vasquez, age 41, who is currently missing. He is age 41, male, 6 feet 1 inches height. Sorry, weight 167 pounds, eyes brown, hair black, and he is white Hispanic. They last had contact with him June 24th, 2024.
Which is at the date of, as of this recording, that was 3 days ago. So he's a very recently went missing.
He was last seen in the vicinity of the 200 block of East 116th Street in Chicago. So we're putting him in the neighborhood of like Beverly-ish.
Okay.
Possibly a little bit more east, Morgan Park, I think.
Okay.
But as we know from our Chicago River Killer, some of those victims were found near the CalSag. Some of them were found Most of them were found a little bit more north.
Hmm.
My problem is that he is, I mean, look at his picture.
He fits the
He
physical
fits.
characteristics of the other
He's
people.
handsome. He's got a beautiful smile. Um, the problem is that he is suffering from traumatic brain injury and suffers from short-term memory. He also takes medication for seizures and epilepsy. So
Oh no.
there is a need for some medical attention. If anybody has any information, they should contact Area 2 Special Victims Unit at 312-747-8274, or if you think you see him, simply call 911.
So the gist of that is the purported theorized Chicago River killer has been potentially killing people for, when was the first victim?
So it's 2022 was Kathleen Martin.
Oh, the lady.
Right. The trend of young men starts also in 2022 though, and it continues through 2023.
And this guy, so Philip unfortunately fits the pattern of these young men that have been gone missing and then found in our waterways.
And traditionally, some of these, I don't think any of these victims had been missing for more than a month, I think was the longest one. Obviously, we hope that we don't find him in the Chicago waterways.
Yeah.
So let's all keep our eyes out, keep our eyes peeled, as they said in the good old days. And
As Fran said,
man, just don't park next to vans.
roll up your fucking windows.
Have a good
people.
night. Fucking windows.
Roll up those fucking windows. So we want to be able to honor the victims by at least saying their names. It's a really long list, guys. So I'm going to just go from start to finish with this list that I have and just say everybody's name. Angela Ford, Charlotte Day, Winifred Shines, Brenda Coward, Elaine Bonita, Saudi Banks, Bessie Scott, Jody Grissom, Gwendolyn Williams, Lorraine Harris, Deli Jones, Celeste Jackson, Nancy Walker, Tarika Jones, Linda Green, Rosenia Baracchio, Latanya Keeler, Lucette Mary Thomas, Latricia Hall, Ethel Emerson, Michelle Davenport, Tamalia Edwards, Mikalova Williams, Precious Smith, Denise Torres, Wanda Hall, Yvette Mason, Shaniqua Williams, Margaret Gomez, Antoinette Simons, Kelly Serf, Veronica Frazier, Marianne Stratkowski, Teresa Bunn, Hazel Lewis, Gwendolyn Milias, Charlene Miller, Latoya Banks, Shannon Williams, Vanessa Rakovich, LaFonda Sue Wilson, Quanda Kreider, Angela Prophet, Pamela Wilson, Velma Howard, Diamond Turner, Catherine Satterfield Buchanan, Valerie Marie Jackson, Nicole Linnell Ridge, Rio Renee Holyfield, and Laura Dawn Harbin. I apologize if I didn't say these names correctly. I know it's a really long list, but I just felt like we had to at least give them their moment and say their names.
Thank you for listening.
Mixed and edited by me, Marie Abenante, parentheses, sort of professionally, end of parentheses. Executive produced by my sister, Lisa Linsner, and me, Marie Abenante.
Music by John Bartman, track City Girls. Cover art by our beautiful and talented niece, Alexis Marie Guerrero.
And we did all of this on our platform called Riverside, which is very user-friendly and lovely, and I hope it sounds good and looks good, and Riverside, forgive us for embarrassing you.
And thank you.
And thank you.